Very good morning. My name is Victoria Sibia. Absolutely a joy to be here with you one more time on the breakfast meeting. Well, today we're going to be diving into an exciting, or rather interesting conversation that I've come to learn about, and I'm hoping that you get to learn about. It's an initiative that's transforming leadership in Uganda's banking sector. I'm talking about the Synthesis for a Global Community, SGC. Coaching initiative in partnership with the Uganda Bankers Association and the Association for the Advancement of Psychosynthesis, AAP, is creating, focusing rather on empowering women leaders in the banking sector, helping them harness psychosynthesis coaching to foster personal growth, leadership development, as well as sustainable change. Now, with a structured 4 to 6 months coaching program, the participants are set to gain tools to advance their careers, overcome challenges, and contribute meaningfully to Uganda's economic transformation. Now, to have that particular conversation, for us to learn more, which is what I usually say, I have Dr. James Okello Onyoin, who's the managing partner at HLB Jim Roberts. As you might know, they would be involved in something like this for sure. And I have with me as well the head of communications and public affairs at UBA. That's Patricia Lutwama. It's such a joy and a pleasure to have you join me this morning on the breakfast meeting. Let's get this conversation started. A lot of English.
Thank you.
For what? Because I mean, I was going through these notes and trying to study and understand what it all means. And I understand it has to do a little bit with leadership, psychology of women, and really making them grow holistically. But I digress. I need you to tell me, let's start it off perhaps in telling me what brought this, what is the coaching itself, the SGC initiative, coaching initiative that is. What is it firstly, and what inspired the collaboration between UBA and AAP?
All right, thank you
Welcome.
very much. Thank you, Victoria. I promise you today I will not talk about accounting. I will not talk about...
No, please, you're welcome.
I will not talk about the audit report. So today we are talking about leadership development. Okay. And research has shown that the most effective way to develop your leaders in your organization is through coaching and mentoring. You can train them, you can do all other kind of things. But what really puts it together is, do you coach them, do you mentor them, do you nurture them? Mm. And the Association for Advancement of Psychosynthesis is an organization based in North America, especially US and Canada. And I happen to be a member of that association. Mm-hmm. And I'm also happy to say that I'm not only an accountant, I'm a professional certified coach. Oh. I qualified with the International Coaching Federation. And then I also trained in psychosynthesis. And I must say I'm one of the first graduates in Africa in this type of leadership development. You
know, I'm sure that somebody's asking, as you say, psychosynthesis.
Yes.
What is psychosynthesis, before we go even further?
Yes. Psychosynthesis, just to put it in a simple way, is that, first of all, coaching itself, when somebody tells you about coaching is based on a branch of psychology, mm-hmm. positive psychology. Yes. So positive psychology is a branch of psychology that has been developed to help those who are trained as coaches to work with their clients, to have a conversation in such a manner that they are able to enable the client to reflect on certain things, mm-hmm. to look at things from certain perspectives, and to open up their minds. It helps them to be able to tap into their inner resources, which otherwise they wouldn't be able to do. Now, psychosynthesis goes even further, because psychosynthesis looks at the human being, and once you, as you develop, the word you mentioned yes. earlier, you need to develop holistically. Mm-hmm. And that means you should be able to tap into your inner resources, including your you could even say your spirituality, because beyond what we know as human beings, when we talk about personal transformation, That means you should be able to look at yourself, even not just as James Onyoin, as an individual, but how do you fit into the entire society? How does your aspirations and what you desire to do link up with the entire environment and ecosystem around you?
Okay.
So that's what psychosynthesis brings into place. It actually tries to say, synthesis is about how do things come together in a certain harmonious and useful way. And if I could put it, being a Christian, how did God mean for us to relate and even to be able to tap into our inner resources? Because most people, they become leaders, but they don't get the opportunity to be able to work with coaches who are experienced, who would then help them to think through certain processes and certain things and reflect on certain things and start tapping even resources which are not easily seen by them. Because each of us has a very enormous resources. If you look at our brain, we use a very small percentage of the capacity of the brain. But through coaching and psychosynthesis and these processes that we take the client through, they're able to start tapping even into their subconscious mind.
Wow.
And it's because there's a lot of resource there.
It sounds very intricate over there. But allow me to also talk to Patricia. And now I'm interested, considering this definition, this collaboration, where does the Uganda Bankers come in this particular order, especially for women? Because I know that this is also targeted to women who are in the banking sector. Please do share a little bit on this endeavor to do this SGC coaching.
Thank you, Victoria, and good morning to all our viewers. Thank you for hosting us.
Absolutely.
So, towards the end of last year, we as the Uganda Bankers Association launched a Women Economic Empowerment Program, an initiative. And within this, we're saying we would like to contribute towards creating an enabling environment within the banking and financial services sector that promotes or encourages or propels women to rise to higher positions, propels women to actually undertake some of the entrepreneurial businesses that ultimately reaching down to the businesswoman. So we have 4 pillars in this initiative, one of which is why we're here this morning, which is leadership and empowerment. Now, under that pillar, we are focusing on mentorship, coaching, components that actually impart or empower the woman with those soft skills that would ordinarily not suffice in your normal day work.
Yes.
You have a good qualification, you have a very fantastic degree, but there are some of those aspects that might be restricting you. Maybe you're not confident to take up a certain role. Maybe you're not confident to speak. You need somebody to handhold you. You need a coach to actually walk with you on the journey of getting you to be self-aware. What is it about me that probably might be limiting me from progressing? What is it about me that can restrict me or impact the people that I work with? Aspects around psychosynthesis is psychology, if you'd like. Psychology and synthesis. So in that psychology, we are speaking to the will. Do you have the will? How do we create that willingness for you? So that's the reason why we then came to the Able Partners, AAP. We had a conversation with James and Ruchira, who you'll, I think, get to watch or listen to much later, to tell them what we are trying to achieve with the Women Economic Empowerment Program. And that's when they said, we could actually collaborate on some of these pillars and just establish a coaching program. I will be one of the women taking part in the program. I'm quite excited. I did have opportunity to take it for a short time, and I must say there are things I didn't think or know about myself that started to come out.
And how has this actually affected your work in your day-to-day as you continue, even just that short course? Because I'm curious as to the significance in choosing women and focusing on women. Yes, of course, you have that women empowerment program, But how does that also align with the overall vision of the Uganda Bankers Association?
Oh, it does. We are very, very deliberate about contributing social impact. Social impact on our ESG strategy is really looking at the S aspect in there.
Yes.
Of supporting the woman. And we all know once we focus and push all our resources, or most of our resources, or be deliberate and intentional about the woman, you're not just supporting the woman, you're supporting the community around the woman, where she works, the people she works with, giving her that opportunity to actually, you know, take up some of these good initiatives that also come up, specifically targeting them. You're building confidence, you are building self-awareness for the woman, telling her that, you know, you can actually do this.
Yes.
Aside all the barriers, you can actually do this. You have the capacity, the ability, you have the will, and we can help you with, you know, kickstarting that willingness for you to actually take up these new roles that are coming up and not be stigmatized, not feel stigmatized, but actually look at our own brothers, our men that we work with as friends who can get us to the next level.
Yes. Now, I'm curious to know about the situation at hand in the banking sector in that case. Are there any gender gaps that this particular coaching will help with? What is it exactly? What is it looking like at the moment in the banking sector? Especially for women.
Very good question. We currently have a staff across the sector of about 19,500. That's all through, from top to entry level, 19,000. But about 50%, majority of the women make up most of the percentage. But what we noticed is at the bottom, middle, entry, that's where we are playing. When you start to rise through the curve to senior management up until CEO level, that percentage drops down to 24%. So something happens around middle management.
Yeah.
And we're saying, okay, what's that problem? Is it that you see an opportunity and you shy away from it? Is it that you don't believe in yourself? Is it that you think the male counterparts are much better or well-placed than you to get there? Those are the gaps now we are trying to extract. And once we do most of these initiatives, what we hope to see is this percentage then starts to increase along the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I think I should be a part of this. But Dr. James, as a coach yourself, what are those key themes or things that you really would like for the women to get from this type of coaching? What are those key, because you already know the program. I'm trying to get some more out of you.
Yes, thank you so much. I think, like Patricia mentioned, for me the biggest thing is that will, and we need to ignite something within the woman that makes her know that we can do this, I can do this. Because that's normally the biggest problem. Most people, not even most people, but all of us, without an exception, whenever you are faced with, let's say, an opportunity or chance, an opportunity for something, there's always that voice which comes to tell you that, no, James, you are not good enough for this thing, isn't it? There's that voice. But we also know that there's another voice which tells you that you can do this. Now, the most important thing in psychology, because these are called transpersonal subpersonalities. There's one which says you can't, there's one which says you can do it. Now, the most important thing is for you to know, how do you deal with those voices? How do you deal with the one which is saying you can't do this? Now, what we do in psychology, we tell them that, well, do not try to suppress it or to just dismiss it. You listen to that voice and say, thank you for letting me know. Because God made that voice also for a purpose. It's meant to protect you. For example, there could be something you want to go into and it could be dangerous for you. So that voice is the one which tells you, please don't do it. Now, we need to acknowledge that, yes, I hear you, it's okay, I hear what you are saying, you are trying to protect me, but thank you for your message. But in this particular case, I believe that I can do this. So that magnifies the voice which tells you that, James, you are good enough and you can go for this. And for most people, it is just that step which is the problem.
Now, how long?
And that's how coaching process will help you. I think there's another word the two of you mentioned earlier. It helps you to build up your confidence.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, how long would it take to build this up?
Yes.
How long is the program itself and the coaching? How long should I be in this incubator so that I can come out brand new in my mental faculties or in any other way? The program, I believe, spans from 4 to 6 months. Please tell me more about how that participant's journey, what are they going through for 4 to 6 months? It sounds like quite a journey.
Yes, I can say something about it. You see, usually, when you sit down with your coach, the coach will normally ask you, what would you like us to talk about? And then the objective of what you are going to discuss is going to come from you. And then that means you are able to set up objectives on what you'd like to achieve through this interaction. Now, over the next 4 to 6 months, you will be working with this coach, probably meeting once a month for the 6 months, let's say, and actually discussing issues that affect you in your leadership journey. And because by then, sometimes people are not progressing just because of the beliefs. We get caught up in certain beliefs. Because you see, the problem is, research has even shown that when people are still very young, let's say from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they are very creative, they are very innovative. Because they are coming with a blank
willing to explore.
Willing to explore, and nothing is limiting them. Everything is possible, actually, at that age. But as we grow up, our institutions, the school, the parents, and everyone starts telling you, you can't do this, you can't do
Now
this.
suddenly we're conditioned.
Yes, and then customs come and tell you, no, this one, women are not supposed to be in this space, you know? So that builds up certain beliefs. Now, for you to break out of the ceiling, you must be able to know how to deal with those beliefs. And through a coaching program, you can actually go through with your coach and start seeing, oh, so actually this was just a belief which is not serving me. I could actually put it aside and develop other beliefs.
Now, I bet. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes. So I was saying that, and then of course your coach can also work with you. If you're then breaking this belief and starting a new one, you can call it a habit. How do you break the old habits and start new ones? What process do you go through? So you work with your coach. And at the end of the 6 months, you can actually say, wow, I've moved the journey. I'm now able to do this. I now believe in this. And I've broken out of those other things that were limiting me.
Now, from what you're just sharing, Dr. James, Patricia, maybe you could tell me, are there plans to move this from the banking sector into other regions? And is that even possible? Because I believe that there are so many more industries and sectors that could benefit from this kind of coaching, especially women in that regard.
Yes, that's a strong yes. There are plans to expand it even beyond the banking sector. One thing I needed to add to James's submission is there's a big, just one word, but it's a big aspect of the program, is commitment from you, the person who's receiving the coaching. Because there are things that can come and interrupt, and then you'll probably have to weigh, do I really need to go for this coaching? Do I need to go and just be with my girls on this other side, meet these people? So there's a big aspect of commitment that the participants in the program have to make. The time, the resources, even the will. We talked about the will earlier. But there is a plan to expand this beyond just the banking sector. We thought we would start of course, you start from home.
Yes, have to.
You start from home, then when there's a ripple effect, it just continues to catch in different aspects. Even the first cohort, second cohort members will be the champions to go then and speak about this program, what it has done to them, what it's doing for them. And the expectation is each person will pick up one person. Pick up one person and tell them about this, interest them to actually be a part of the next program. And we want to believe that will be continuous. And it will just catch across the different sectors. Yeah.
Exciting, really. But I want to get from you, how can people participate in that case? How are they getting a hold of you? Is this, of course, it's not yet open, but how are people actually participating?
So for the first cohort that will officially come into play this Friday, what happened is there was an assessment tool that was shared to different of our members. We have about that.
And this is virtual, correct?
Yes, this is virtual. So it was sent out and members were asked to answer specific questions. So depending on how your answers came in, depending on how the response to your answers depicted commitment, or this one is just here for, then the selection was made. And then the first cohort members were then notified that you have been selected to be part of the initial cohort. So there are questions that you are required to answer, which require you to think. You don't just throw in an answer. You have to really ponder before you put in that response.
So people didn't get in by chance, for sure. I know that you have several partners and other people that you'd like to introduce us to. Dr. James, would you like to take over that one?
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to introduce you, Victoria, to a very good friend of mine and a partner in the coaching. She was actually my supervisor when I was doing my coaching sessions with an institution called Coach Masters Academy. And she's also trained me. She trained me in psychosynthesis coaching. She's Ruchira Chakravarti. She's based in the US, in Washington, Seattle. And she's actually the lead in this particular program. And I would like her to speak to us about this, and so that people know who are behind this. Like we said, there are going to be coaches from around the world, from UK, Ireland, US, and ourselves, Ugandans as well, India, and so forth. So it's an international program. So like she said, we have to start somewhere.
Yes.
So let's start with Uganda Bankers Association.
Yes.
And then as the program grows, maybe we can. Ruchira has been here. We met Mr. Keane. We met a number of people, Joe Kigoza and others. So probably it will come to NBS.
I think it'll catch some fire for sure, definitely. But first, allow me to thank you for joining us today on the breakfast meeting, Patricia, as well as Dr. James. Thank you for bringing this also to the forefront for us to know and go Google some big words so we can also learn a thing or two. But you're going to be watching this particular video so you can be introduced to other coaches as well. But for me, Victoria Sabia, we'll be right back, but stay tuned right here watching this.
Good morning to all my fellow Ugandans. We are roughly 11 hours apart because I'm sitting here in Seattle, Washington. Thank you so much for having me on this morning edition with all of you to speak about something that is extremely dear and important to me as my life's work. I'm joined here by, of course, Dr. James Onyoin and Patricia, who have very kindly agreed and done the honors of including us in a beautiful program, a very impactful and powerful program that they have initiated. I would like to take the opportunity to speak a little bit about how we are coming in. So it was about a little while ago, just to give a little bit of context, this was a little while ago when we started speaking to the chair and the president at Uganda Bankers Association. And one of the things that they repeatedly mention is their desire and intention to work with the data that they are receiving from ground up, from institutions like the World Bank and the United Nations, which repeatedly point towards the economic status of women and where they are in their career journeys, life journeys, when they're working with organized establishment like the banking and financial institution. And one of the things that came up was that roughly 52% of women working in the organized banking and financial sector were in the junior and supervisory levels. And that immediately brought to notice the need for upliftment and training of these women, so that it doesn't matter where they are coming from, but if they stay in this particular industry over the next 20 years of their career and dedicate the next 2 decades of their life to these establishments and institutions, then there is the onus of these institutions in return to be able to develop them, to be able to nurture them, to be able to build their leadership muscle and capacity in a way that serves them as well as the institutions that they serve. And that overall leads to national and institutional development. So these conversations have been very, very motivating, because it shows the thinking that is aligned towards sustainable improvement. It is long-term in nature. There is intent and goodwill, of course, but beyond that, the intentionality to action is very, very strong. And that is where we came in. The Association for Advancement of Psychosynthesis, which was introduced to us, which Dr. James Onyoin over here played a pivotal role in connecting this North America body, which is an institution of highly trained practitioners of psychology called Psychosynthesis, which is a transpersonal psychology. And we have therapists, we have counselors, we have coaches under this umbrella from across different parts of North America. We have, and now this is also available in Uganda. We have several members who are now trained psychosynthesis coaches who belong to this umbrella as well. And when the Women Economic Empowerment Program was launched, one of the pillars of how the UBA wanted to support this particular program was to initiate a coaching and mentorship model that allowed for women to have access to personal mentoring and personal growth conversations. And as a part of that, we started this initiative to look at women who are in middle management positions, who have significant years of experience in the domain. They have significant responsibilities that they are shouldering. They have teams that they are managing under them. So we decided that that makes for a very, very good strategic entry point for us to be able to help women who have responsibilities downstream. They are the piece that connects the strategy to execution. So they have an accountability upstream as well. And then they are right in the middle of the ecosystem, making everything go round. So this is a position that has been not today. As a matter of fact, this is a researched piece that the maximum pressure is felt by executives at the middle level. So this program, the initiative that we are launching in psychosynthesis coaching in association with Association for Advancement of Psychosynthesis and Uganda Bankers Association, is to support these women in the middle management position towards personal and professional development. Now, what's also very, very interesting is UBA has stayed true to their intent of supporting these women. So the goals, the agenda, the vision that these women bring for themselves or design and craft for themselves will be central to these coaching conversations. So we are leading with the person in front. We are not leading with the institution in front. This makes a significant difference because that allows these women to align their personal values, personal goals, personal agenda and ambitions to organization values and goals. And it's a beautiful journey that unfolds because it comes from a place of strength. It does not remain survival anymore. It somewhere in this twilight zone, it shifts from coming from a place of lack of resources to abundance of resources, and which is what empowerment also stands for. Empowerment is an internal experience. There is nobody who can empower you unless and until it comes from you within. So with that, I would like to say thank you to all the different clients who have volunteered to be part of this first cohort. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank all the coaches who have come forward from worldwide. We have coaches from UK, we have coaches from Europe, we have coaches from Ireland, we have coaches from North America, we have coaches from Canada. We have supervisors who have years and years of experience in the field of coaching who have come forward to be master coaches, to be supervisors to the coaches who have also registered for the program. So this is a very large initiative. It is an international initiative. And we are hoping that this first cohort brings intent, purpose, value, and meaning together. So thank you very much for having me on this show. It's great to be speaking to all of you from Seattle. And I wish all of you good luck and very happy Thanksgiving and Happy New Year coming along. Thank you.